Welcome back to the deep dive. And I've got to be honest with you right off the bat. When I saw the topic for today, my first reaction was sort of, did I wander into the wrong part of the bookstore? We're talking about twin flames.
It is a loaded term, isn't it?
Loaded is an understatement.
Mm.
I mean, it usually conjures up images of intense Pinterest quotes, romance novels.
Shirtless guys on the cover?
Exactly. Or that specific corner of TikTok where people are doing tarot readings about their exes. It feels destined, but also usually kind of toxic.
That is the cultural baggage of the term, for
Yeah.
sure. We tend to associate twin flames with this, high drama, destined collision of souls. But, and this is why we're here, the research we've pulled for today is doing something completely different with it.
It's flipping the script.
It's flipping the script from a spiritual fantasy to a psychological reality.
Right, and that's the only reason I didn't roll my eyes and walk away. The source material we're diving into treats this not as destiny written in the stars, but as a matter of nervous system regulation.
Yeah.
It talks about something called coherence. So before we get into any relationship advice, can we just ground this? What are we actually talking about here?
We're talking about a shift from chasing a connection to allowing resonance. But to understand that, we have to look at the biology. You mentioned coherence.
Yeah.
In a clinical sense, coherence refers to a state where your physiological systems, your respiration, your heart rate, your brain waves, they're all synchronized.
So it's not just a vibe, it's an actual measurable physical state.
Exactly. When you are in a state of stress or longing, your heart rhythm is actually jagged and irregular. When you're in a state of appreciation or calm, that rhythm becomes smooth and sine wave-like. That is coherence. The core argument of this deep dive is that a positive twin flame isn't someone who comes in to fix your jagged rhythm. It's someone who meets you when you are already smooth.
Okay, that is a massive distinction because the Hollywood version is, I'm a mess, you're a mess, let's be a mess together and call it passion.
Right.
Or, I'm broken, please complete me.
Right. The Jerry Maguire philosophy, you complete me. The source material is explicitly saying, no. A positive twin flame is not a patch for your void.
A patch for your void, wow.
If you are looking for someone to complete you, you aren't looking for a partner. You're looking for regulation. You're looking for a human pacifier.
A human pacifier, that is
Right.
humbling, but it makes so much sense. If I'm frantic, I'm looking for someone to calm me down.
Mm-hmm.
But this text suggests that the work has to begin internally. And we have 7 pillars to get through that move us from this frantic fixation to what they call internal stability.
And these aren't just steps to finding a partner. They were really steps to deconditioning that desperate need for external validation.
Okay, let's jump into the first one because I think this is where most of us trip up immediately. Reducing projection.
This is the foundation. The text, it warns that when longing turns into fantasy, the connection gets distorted.
Right.
Think about it. When you have a massive crush or you feel that pull towards someone, what is actually happening in your brain?
Oh, I know this one. I'm writing the screenplay. I'm imagining us at a coffee shop. I'm imagining the deep conversations we haven't had yet. I'm imagining how well they're going to get along with my mom.
Exactly. You are projecting a movie onto a blank screen. The danger, according to our source, is that this pulls your attention away from the present and replaces it with imagined interaction.
So you aren't relating to the real person.
You're not. You are relating to the character you created.
It's almost like you're interacting with a ghost. But here's my pushback. Isn't a little fantasy necessary? Don't we need to visualize what we want?
Visualization is different from projection. Visualization is, I want a partner who is kind. Projection is, this specific person who hasn't texted me back in 3 days is secretly just really busy saving orphans and loves me deep down.
Oof, okay. I feel attacked.
We've all been there. But the source calls this a form of abandonment. You are abandoning the reality of the situation, which might be that they aren't available, for a fantasy where they are.
So what's the antidote?
The antidote the text gives is to return to 3 things: lived reality, embodied feeling, and honest perception.
Lived reality. So literally, look at the data.
Look at the data. Are they here? Are they calling? And how does your body feel when you are around them? Not how it should feel, but how it does feel. Grounded connection requires you to be here in your body, perceiving honestly. If you bypass the red flags because they don't fit your script, you aren't in reality.
That honestly leads perfectly into the second pillar, because if you're living in reality, you have to deal with yourself. This pillar is cultivate self-fidelity.
I love this term, self-fidelity.
It sounds fancy, but break it down for us. It sounds like loyalty.
It is loyalty, but to yourself. It's defined here as consistently responding to your own needs, limits, and values. It's the opposite of self-abandonment.
Can you give me a concrete example? Because I think we all think we're loyal to ourselves, but then Saturday night rolls around.
Right. Here's a classic scenario. You have a plan to go to the gym or work on a hobby on Tuesday night. The person you are chasing or interested in texts you at 5:00 p.m. and says, "Hey, free to hang."
And I immediately cancel the gym, obviously.
Right. You drop your reality to accommodate theirs. That is a breach of self-fidelity. You just taught your own nervous system that you don't matter as much as they do.
Wow, you taught your nervous system that you don't matter. That is heavy.
It is. The text says the more you practice self-fidelity, the less you seek regulation through another person. When you cancel your plans to see them, you're usually doing it because you're anxious.
Right. You think if I see them, I'll feel better. I'll feel secure.
So I'm using them to regulate my anxiety about the relationship.
Precisely. You are outsourcing your regulation. A positive twin flame resonance or just a healthy relationship only forms where that behavior stops.
It forms where boundaries are respected and autonomy is intact. You have to be a whole person, not a half person looking for a crutch.
This brings us to the third pillar, and I think this is the aha moment for the deep dive. Focus on state, not story.
This is the pivot.
I feel like my brain is 90% story. Why did they say that? What did that look mean? Are they thinking about me right now? It's just a constant narrative loop.
It is a detective novel where you are the detective and the victim. The text calls these story questions, and they're seductive because they feel like problem solving. But notice the focus. It's entirely external.
It's all about them.
All about them. So what is the alternative? Because I can't just turn my brain off.
You don't turn it off. You redirect it. You switch to state questions. Instead of what are they doing, you ask, how am I showing up right now?
Yes, or is my nervous system regulated? Am I in a state of lack or a state of fullness?
There's a maxim in the text that I highlighted. Resonance follows state.
That is the golden rule. You cannot think your way into a connection. You cannot analyze your way into being loved. You have to embody the state that attracts it.
But wait, play devil's advocate with me here. What if I'm in a state of really wanting them? Isn't that a state?
That is usually a state of grasping. In the nervous system, that looks like sympathetic activation, fight or flight. It's, I need this to survive.
Okay.
And biologically, when you approach someone with that I need this to survive energy, it registers to them as a threat. It registers as pressure.
Which explains why they pull away.
Yeah.
It's not because they're runners in some cosmic game. It's because I'm coming at them with the energy of a starving person at a buffet.
Exactly. And that leads directly to the fourth pillar,
Yeah.
allow, without chasing. Because chasing is the physical manifestation of that dysregulated state.
The text says pressure distorts connection. I feel that. But allowing, I have to be real with you, allowing sounds passive. It sounds like sitting on the couch eating chips and hoping the love of my life rings the doorbell.
I hear that objection a lot, but think about the physics of it. If you
Yeah.
chase something, it runs. That's nature. Chasing implies you don't have it. Allowing isn't passive, it's magnetic. It means you are holding your own frequency so steadily that you become available for a connection.
So it's the difference between hunting and gardening.
That's a great analogy. You prepare the soil, you plant the seeds, you water them, but you don't scream at the flower to grow. You don't pull it up by the roots to check if it's growing.
That's chasing.
That is chasing. Chasing forces timing and meaning, allowing trusts the unfolding.
That part about forcing meaning hits home. They used a period instead of an exclamation point. Do they hate me?
That is the pressure to define. A positive connection unfolds naturally when both systems are regulated. If you're chasing, you aren't regulated, you're hunting.
Okay, this next one, pillar 5, is the one I need tattooed on my forehead.
Yeah.
Distinguish intuition from anxiety. Because I swear, every time I have a panic attack about a relationship, I tell myself, this is just my intuition telling me something is wrong.
This is the number one question people ask. Is it my gut or is it my trauma? The source gives us a really specific cheat sheet here based on how the thought feels in the body.
Let's role play this. I'm sitting at home. I haven't heard from them. I get a thought. You should text them right now. How do I know what that is?
Okay. Does the thought feel calm, spacious, and non-urgent? Like a gentle nudge? Hey, reach out to them. Or does it feel loud, repetitive, and demanding? Text them. Text them now. Why haven't they texted? You have to fix this.
Oh, it's definitely the second one. It's screaming. It feels like a siren.
That is anxiety. That is not intuition. The text has a critical warning. If a thought increases fear, urgency, or obsession, it is not guidance. It is dysregulation asking for care.
Dysregulation asking for care. So my nervous system is like a crying baby, and I'm trying to hand the baby to the person I'm dating.
Yes, you are trying to use the text message to soothe the baby, but the baby needs you. If you act on that urgency, you're acting from a place of lack, and you will likely get a result that mirrors that lack.
And intuition is quiet.
It's quiet. It waits for you to be listening. It doesn't scream.
That is incredibly helpful. So if it feels like an emergency, it's probably just trauma.
If it feels like an emergency and there is no blood, it is trauma.
I'm going to write that down. Okay, moving deeper inward. Pillar 6, integrate polarity internally. Now, usually when we talk about polarity, we mean opposites attract. I'm the chaos, you're the order.
Right, I'm the soft, you're the strong. And that is a common relationship dynamic. But the source argues that true twin flame dynamics, or just high-level conscious relationships, require you to integrate those opposites inside yourself first.
Why? Wouldn't that make me not need a partner?
It makes you not dependent on a partner for your basic functioning. Think about it. If I disown my own strength, if I say I'm just a soft, helpless person, I will compulsively seek someone strong to survive.
That isn't love.
It's a survival strategy. I become a parasite on their strength.
And if they leave, I collapse.
Exactly. But if I integrate my own strength and my own softness, then when I meet someone strong, I can appreciate them, but I don't need them to carry me. The source lists specific polarities: strength and softness, autonomy and closeness, clarity and feeling.
It goes back to that word coherent. You aren't half a person looking for your other half. You're a whole ecosystem looking for another ecosystem.
A whole ecosystem, I like that. And that ecosystem has to exist in the real world, not just in meditation. Which brings us to pillar 7. Stay grounded in real life.
This is the reality check pillar. There's this tendency in spiritual communities, especially with the twin flame label,
Sure.
to use the connection as an excuse to check out of reality.
Oh, yeah.
I can't work today, I'm ascending.
Right. I can't pay my bills. I'm in the dark night of the soul. The source is very firm here. A positive twin flame focus does not remove you from daily responsibility. In fact, it deepens presence within it.
It lists the mundane stuff: eating, resting, working, relating to friends.
It's a litmus test. If this connection is causing you to drop the ball on your life, if you're skipping meals, ignoring your friends, tanking your career, that is not spiritual ascension. That is a mental health crisis.
It's the difference between escapism and expansion. Escapism is, I love this person so I don't have to deal with my boring life. Expansion is, I feel so supported internally that I want to engage with my life more fully.
Perfectly put. Real resonance makes you more capable of handling reality, not less. If you're floating away, you aren't grounded enough to hold a real connection anyway.
So let's recap. We have these 7 pillars. Reduce projection. Stop watching the movie in your head.
Right.
Cultivate self-fidelity. Don't abandon yourself. Focus on state, not story. Regulate your nervous system. Allow without chasing. Stop hunting.
Yes.
Distinguish intuition from anxiety. Ignore the siren. Integrate polarity. Be your own strength and softness. And stay grounded. Pay your bills.
It's a lot of work. But notice, none of it involves manipulating the other person. None of it involves how to send a text to get him to chase you.
It's all internal. Which leads us to the final advice in the source material: trusting timing. But it clarifies, this isn't waiting.
No, the phrase is trust timing without waiting. That sounds like a paradox.
It does. Usually if I trust timing, I'm just sitting by the window.
Waiting implies a pause. It implies my real life starts when this person arrives. Trusting timing means living fully, right now, completely immersed in your life without forcing the outcome. You aren't holding your breath.
The text has this beautiful line that really sums it up for me. When coherence is present, connection becomes possible. When coherence is absent, connection becomes imagined.
That is the takeaway. If you are trying to summon a twin flame through thought, through obsession, through analyzing signs, you are engaging in fantasy. A positive connection is recognized through alignment.
Recognized, not summoned. That takes so much pressure off. I don't have to manifest it by thinking really hard until my brain bleeds. I just have to be aligned.
You focus on your alignment. You focus on your coherence, that smooth sine wave in your heart, and you trust that anything that is actually meant for you will recognize that coherence. You don't have to chase it down and tackle it.
It really reframes the whole concept. We started this deep dive talking about twin flames, which usually sounds like the most ungrounded, chaotic topic imaginable, but we have ended up with a guide to radical self-responsibility.
That is often the case with the deepest truths. The magic isn't in the fairy dust or the tarot cards, it's in the emotional maturity. It's about becoming a person who is safe to connect with and who is safe within themselves.
So for everyone listening, here is the challenge for the week. The next time you find yourself spiraling into the story, wondering what they're doing, why they haven't called, checking their last scene, status stop. Just stop.
Take a breath.
Yeah. Check your body. Are you clenched? Is your heart racing?
And ask yourself the state question instead. How am I showing up right now? Is my nervous system regulated?
Start there. Resonance follows state. If you want a calm connection, you have to bring a calm nervous system.
Exactly.
I want to leave you with a thought to chew on, something that really struck me from the margins of this text. We often think we want this connection so we can finally feel real or whole, but if you are waiting for a connection to make you feel real, you are, by definition, engaging in the fantasy of completion.
That is the hard truth. You have to be real first.
So what would happen if you focused entirely on your own alignment today, just for today, trusting that anything meant for you will recognize that coherence without you having to say a word? What if you just allowed it?
That is where the freedom is.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.